The proposed structural changes touch on a number of security laws, such as the National Intelligence Service, National Police Service, Prevention of Terrorism, Criminal Procedure Act, and the Penal Code. The amendments largely seem to be informed by a desire to give more legal teeth to the government and its security agencies, especially in the fight against terrorism. It is apparent that much attention has been given to sealing legal loopholes accused of frustrating arrest, prosecution and conviction of terror suspects. But analysts and critics of the amendment bill have raised concerns that inasmuch as there is need for tighter laws to confront new security threats in Kenya, the drafters of the bill are making a fundamental error by proposing laws that essentially curtail freedoms and rights of citizens that are enshrined in the Constitution.
Leo namwona yule chairman wa legal committee, ile security committee wa National Assembly, hajijui mbele hajijui nyuma, asema extreme circumstances require extreme measures. Extreme circumstances require the application of the Constitution, period.
Specific Constitution articles that the amendments are set to infringe on are Article 34 on freedom of the media, by declaring an offence the publication or broadcasting of photographs of victims of terror attacks without the consent of the police or the victim. The penalty for this is jailing for a maximum of 3 years or a fine of up to 5 million shillings or both. Journalists and the media will also need police authority to broadcast or publish, quote, any information which undermines investigations or security operations relating to terrorism. There is Article 33 on freedom of expression, as is in Section 66 of the Penal Code. The bill seeks to regulate the publication and distribution of what it calls, quote, obscene, gory or offensive material, which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the general public. This will be a felony punishable by a fine not exceeding 1 million shillings or 3 years in jail or both, and if it is a media enterprise responsible, a 5 million shilling fine. Article 31 on right to privacy, as is seen in Section 19, Cap 107. The bill gives the National Intelligence Service unlimited powers to tap telephones without a court order. Currently, intelligence officers must obtain a warrant from the High Court to intercept a person's private communication. Article 106 of the National Police Service Act. The bill gives police stations power to hold records on all guests in hotels and accommodation facilities submitted to them once a week. Even as a session was held to gather input from the public on the proposed changes today, members of parliament under the Jubilee banner converged in State House in a meeting chaired by President Kenyatta. It is understood the meeting was called to drum support for the amendments ahead of debate in the National Assembly tomorrow. During the meeting, there were further proposals. One, to do away with the security of tenure of the Inspector General of Police while giving the Inspector General more powers as the chair of the National Police Service Commission in a bid to do away with friction between the IG and the current chair of the National Police Service Commission. Further changes to security laws will include Section 128A of the Penal Code. A public officer who aids or facilitates the entry of a criminal into Kenya will be guilty of a felony and liable to a jail term of not less than 10 years. Section 36A of the Prison Act. The Commission of Prisons shall confine persons who are imprisoned for committing an offence under the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012. Section 16A of the Refugees Act. The number of refugees and asylum seekers permitted to stay in Kenya shall not exceed 150,000 persons. Jackie Maribe, Citizen Business Center.